Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not, maybe I'm not.
Let's start with the Super Bowl. So, I understand. I get it. I want to just keep it real. Can I keep it real?
Yeah, talk to him.
Can I keep it real?
Yeah, of course. That's why we're here.
I'm gonna keep it real.
That's why we're here.
I need to keep it real for a second.
That's why we're here.
All right, I need to keep it real. I keep it 100.
Yes, if
All right.
you will.
If I may. The thing about it is, I understand everybody feels terrified at the notion of criticizing anything that the NFL does, and by people I mean our business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not in good taste to criticize the NFL these days. Apparently,
You can get fired for that.
you can't. But I'm just going to use all facts. Okay, the fact is that was the lowest rated Super Bowl in the last 10 years. Now, Ashley, our producer,
Hey, Ash.
I did not say this publicly because it's not a good idea to do that. But I did say it on the record to Ashley so that I had a witness. I did say this was going to be the lowest rated Super Bowl in the last 5 years. I didn't give them enough credit the last 10 years. True or false?
True.
When she
I
say
called
that?
it 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
True.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing that happened in the
Fact.
last 2 weeks swayed me in any way. As soon as the championship weekend was over, I said this is going to be the lowest rated Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Turned out to be 10 years. So close enough. The fact of the matter is, I'm not surprised. I do think that the game was incredibly boring. And I know everyone is saying, like, don't listen to Twitter. And Twitter, you know, I agree. Twitter is a vortex of insanity.
Right.
It's a black hole. It's an echo chamber. All those things are true. You should not live your life based off of what people on Twitter say. It's a bad idea.
President
Not
Trump's
to
on
say
Twitter.
that good things haven't come from people getting outraged on Twitter.
Right.
I'm just saying sometimes Twitter is a little off on their outrage
Alternate
sometimes.
reality.
True.
Yes.
However, everyone is saying everyone who's watching it, who's wants to enjoy the Super Bowl, felt like it was a bore fest.
Yes.
And it was. And that's okay to say. It's okay to say that the Super Bowl was boring because it was. And the numbers support what I'm saying.
Okay.
Now, had the Super Bowl been an exciting Super Bowl and the numbers would still be bad, I'd still be right. So I'm right either way, which I'm totally cool with. But
You're cool with being right either way?
I'm right either way. It doesn't matter.
But you're okay
we
with that.
expected a high flying, high energy, lots of offense, definitely great defense, or at least defensive moments. And it was a great defensive game.
It was a
but
defensive
defensive
battle.
moments as opposed to a defensive battle.
Yes.
Didn't turn out that way.
No.
It was not great television. And that's okay to say. The season was incredible. The NFL's not falling apart. They were the highest ratings ever in the playoffs.
Yes.
Okay. It was a great season for the NFL. We had mostly no major injuries.
Yeah, it was a great season up until this point.
Yes, it was very exciting. Lots of offense. Overall, healthy whole season. It ended in a dud, and that's okay to say. That was not an exciting game. Don't hit me with the NFL purity of, we gotta get down. That's what we wanted to see this whole time. In the trenches, a war of trenches. The
Okay.
thing about the Super Bowl is people watch the Super Bowl who are not traditional NFL fans,
Yes.
who don't watch every single Sunday, who don't play fantasy football, who don't bet on every single game. You have a lot of fringe fans, and that was not exciting. And guess what? I'm not a fringe fan, and it was not exciting.
Okay, I too am not a Fringe fan, so I rewatched it last night. I put it on at like 8 p.m. Fast forward during the commercials because
what
they
are
weren't good
you
anyways.
into?
So I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just like the echo chamber of the party that I was at. Because
Right.
one of the first things I talked to Earl about was he said, football's boring, and I was like, I've never even considered it being boring. So I watched it this Super Bowl. This is before the game started. I watched it thinking, Earl in the back of my mind, football's boring. And I was just like, oh my God.
Earl has the power over you and Ashley to change your
He's
minds in any
he
direction.
lays seeds. But I would say this:
He
I
does.
rewatched last night, and I was like, okay, this is a good game. I made sure to do 10 push-ups at every punt to keep myself awake. After 120 push-ups, and after the Sony Michel score, the only drive that was a touchdown score, I fell asleep. Not because it was just late in the evening. The game was actually boring after it was. There's one time that they were in the end zone. Either team. Are in the red zone.
The
One
Rams
red zone.
punted on their first 8 drives.
80 push-ups. Yeah, I remember last night. It was okay. I say that to say this. I say that to say this. It was a horrendously boring football game near the end, in the entire time, the game playing between the 20s. No one wants to see that football, especially not in the Super Bowl. And we, as football fans, seeing the NFL do what it did all season long,
that's not the game.
This was hurtful.
That's not the game we deserved.
No.
Okay? Not watching the Patriots win their 6th Super Bowl, tying the Steelers record of Lombardies.
I'm even over that part.
Not seeing Tom Brady cement his legacy as the greatest quarterback of all time without question. Not seeing Belichick cement his legacy as the greatest football coach of all time, college or professional.
Yeah.
It was a bore fest. And on top of that, you have the whole storyline with Sean McVay and the Rams and paying the players and like that whole element of it. It's not the game we deserved. And that's okay to say. Don't be afraid to say it was a boring game. It was. It's going to be all right. The NFL's going to be fine. The rating's going to be fine next year. Everyone's going to come back. Everything's going to be good.
13-3.
It's not the game we deserved, okay? That's just all there is to it. And now we can actually have the real conversation of, guess what? We've reached the point where the Patriots dynasty is no longer good for the NFL. And the numbers show that. And that's the reason why I said it to Ashley 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And don't tell me I could influence Ashley to say whatever I want to tell her, because we know that's true. I did not. I did tell her that, and it is facts.
Yeah,
all right? I'm not lying to the people right now. I really did say it was going to be bad ratings. I believe I actually said it in this room as well, but I'm positive I said it to Ashley.
I believe you.
Anyway, the point is, worst ratings in 10 years. Yeah. That's not an accident. It's not the Rams' fault either. Okay, now obviously the Rams just moved. You don't have a huge, strong fan base in LA. You know, just driving around LA before the game started, I was like, this does not feel like Super Bowl Sunday. If this was Pittsburgh, everyone on the planet that you saw would have Steelers jerseys on or black and yellow. There'd be signs in every storefront. People would be driving down the street with flags. Like it would be mayhem. Okay, terrible towels tucked into every hat. Okay, yes. That's how it would feel like something big is happening in the city today. And I understand Los Angeles is a big city. They haven't been here that long. Most fans here are Raiders fans. Like there's a lot of things going on there. Right. Fine. Okay. Maybe the Rams played a small part in it. The entire city of New Orleans chose to not watch the game.
Yes, had a big
that
party.
May have played a part in it too.
Yes.
But including the streaming numbers, lowest audience rating in 10 years. Total audience of 107 million. That's still a lot. That's still a lot of people, okay?
Yes.
But the point of the matter is, the Patriots are no longer good for the NFL. This dynasty is no longer good for the NFL. People are bored with it. They know exactly what to expect. This game wasn't great. There was no interesting storyline. Leading into Super Bowl week, the NBA dominated every headline. I think we led the show every single day with NBA news.
But a sub-headline to the Super Bowl could be how bad the Rams shit the bed. I said on this podcast last week, the Rams might have to have their worst game possible to lose this game, and they did.
You spoke it into existence.
But that's not the Patriots. I don't want to credit Tom Brady in one of his worst Super Bowl performances that we've ever seen for greatness in a dynasty when the Rams actually laid an egg. Like they actually did not show up.
The Rams are not getting
on offense. On defense, very good.
On defense, they were incredible.
Special teams, they had to be good. They punted so much.
Defense and special teams, both teams were incredible.
Yeah,
incredible. The Rams are not getting enough credit for how bad they were on offense.
Yes.
That's fair. I don't know what's going on with Todd Gurley. I need answers, and I need them now. Colin had a great point.
Why lie?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Todd Gurley. Yeah. But if the situation was reversed and it was Belichick, we would be crushing him. That's what happened with Malcolm Butler. I need answers on Todd Gurley, and I need them now. Why you wouldn't run the ball with C.J. Anderson, considering that Todd Gurley hasn't been a factor in your offense in like 2 months anyway, is a whole nother discussion. I don't know what their game plan was. It obviously was a disaster and didn't work. Jared Goff looked rattled, which none of this means anything to me long term because they're going to be back. Jared Goff has shown that he's resilient, that he can have a bad year and come back and still be a franchise quarterback.
Bounce back from these type of faults.
So I'm not saying it's a disaster with Sean McVay and all this was a lie. They were still in the Super Bowl. They still had an incredible season, and I picked them to get there. Like I think they're going to be. I don't know if they're going to make it to the Super Bowl next year, but they're going to be contenders next year, even if they do lose a few pieces. So overall, long term, it's not a disaster. But that was a horrible, horrible showing by the Rams. But stop acting like this was some virtuoso performance by Tom Brady.
Right.
They barely won.
He showed his age in the Super Bowl win more than any other game all season long, in my opinion.
I mean, look, they have a zillion picks. I think they have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds.
And they know what to do with their picks.
They do. They're excellent at drafting. If you want to get better on your team, start trying to poach the Patriots scouting department.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's the way to go. Overall, I was incredibly disappointed with performance by both teams. I would have I think I could deal with the Patriots winning another Super Bowl had it been a great game that came down to the wire. Yeah. And don't hit me with it was a fourth quarter game-winning drive. Like, get the f*** out of my face with that. Are you kidding me?
It wasn't not a fourth quarter winning drive. It was, and not to mention, in that drive, the Patriots
like claiming that you average a triple-double scoring 10 points all season long.
If you average a triple-double scoring 10 points, you average a triple-double. That's what it is, straight up. I can't wait for somebody to do that. That's going to be my favorite player when that happens.
It really will, too.
But on that drive, Gronk made the biggest play of the game.
No, Gronk,
at the 1-yard line. Sony Michel, the guy who they thought was going to be the one who was going to score a touchdown, scored the only touchdown. Edelman did, like, all of the stars, even on the defense, Dante Hightower and Stephon Gilmore, like, that's the crazy part. The Patriots stars actually showed up during that time period, around that time period.
That's what the story of the Super Bowl was. It came down to a shit game, the entire game to the fourth quarter. And then in the moment that it mattered, the stars who have experience, Sony Michel obviously not, but everyone else around him, the stars who have experience, Gronk, Edelman, Tom Brady, and their coaching staff did what they do.
And first-round draft pick for them.
Credit to them. And this is not hating. Like, I respect everything that the Patriots do. I respect the greatness that they are. I actually wish that the teams I cared about acted more like the Patriots, because whatever they do equals winning.
They might now. You're at the defensive coordinator and the Miami Dolphins.
I'm very excited about that. Although the Belichick coaching tree has not shown very ripe fruit.
Imitation is not forgiving for them.
I feel differently about this one. I'm optimistic, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the point is, that's what it came down to, which I'm okay with. But the bottom line is this is not exciting. So everyone needs to stop hitting me with, oh, you just don't appreciate the game. Okay.
Yeah, Joy Taylor doesn't appreciate defensive football.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
My favorite highlight from that game was Aaron Donald tossing Tom Brady around. That's the only thing that actually gave me hope that this might turn around in the second half. I even tweeted it for good luck, because I tweeted during the Atlanta Patriots Super Bowl. I tweeted, this comeback is going to be amazing. Right before the comeback started, I was being entirely sarcastic, and it ended up being the greatest Super Bowl comeback of all time. So I was hoping that I'd just throw a little juju out there, and it will flip this around, and it'll turn out being the greatest second half ever. And it was not. No, so I guess I used all of that energy on that Super Bowl. You're welcome, Patriots. Yeah. Bottom line is, I'm not hating. They're great. Congratulations, Patriots fans.
Yes.
I guess.
Congrats on the ring, the Jordan ring, Tom Brady.
Right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a great Super Bowl. Nobody outside of Boston enjoyed that Super Bowl.
Football greatness isn't as fun as basketball greatness. As simple as that.
And to your point, like, everyone's like, oh, well, the baseball World Series, not great. Oh, well, the sweep in the NBA Finals, not great. Yeah, I agree. I don't want to see that shit either. I always want more games.
Yeah.
I was pissed about game 1 of this year's NBA Finals, J.R. Smith messing up, because that meant more games. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants more games, more basketball, more baseball, more World Series. We want more of that. So I'm not saying this is a disaster and those other ones weren't. I'm just saying also include this, and this was not a good game.
Yeah.
This was the equivalent of a sweep in the NBA Finals.
Agreed. Oh, this game was the equivalent of last year's NBA Finals. It was like exciting at one point in time when there was I was like, oh, they got an interception. Oh, this defense might just do something. Oh, they're not calling flags. There's so many calls still left on that field waiting to get called, like driving quarterbacks into the ground. Like, there's a lot of calls that the Rams didn't get to even out the calls that they did get to get them there with the Saints. But I watched it. I was excited, and then after the test, I fell asleep. It was one of those football games you take naps in. It was one of those 12 o'clock games. Yes, it was a nap game.
If that was a regular season game, we would all be like, well, the Patriots won. It wasn't good. It was a great performance, whatever. We'll see what happens in the playoffs.
Somebody didn't show up.
That's what we would talk about.
Yes.
We was like, oh, hopefully they meet again in the Super Bowl and it's a better game.
Nope.
It wasn't a good game. Mm-mm. It wasn't a good game, and it's not the game that you want fringe fans watching. Okay? It's okay to say it.
Sad.
And the numbers back it up, and everything's going to be fine. Yeah. And they're going to have record ratings next year, and we should just all start praying to the sports gods right now that we get the Chiefs and Cowboys.
Chiefs, Cowboys, Super Bowl next year. Could you imagine?
Yes, I can.
Dak and Patrick. Mahomes and Prescott. Is that his name? Yeah. That's
pretty good.
But Jason Garrett's not going to get to a Super Bowl.
Pretty good.
Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator maybe will get him there, right?
Oh my gosh.
That's going to be really interesting. You see Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott?
Kellen Moore is going to be the head coach of the team next year. We know that, right? You are aware of that, right?
Kellen
not this year.
Moore?
I mean after this year.
Yeah. 2020.
After Jason Garrett's contract is up.
Yeah.
You are aware of that, right?
Right.
I'm not breaking news to anyone but that, right?
Go Cowboys.
Right, that's not news?
Yeah.
Remember when you told me to stop putting Dolphin stuff into existence
Yeah,
earlier?
I mean, she's talking about like Stephen Ross wants to. Just stop with that. That's nonsense. That's not happening. I won't allow it. But the thought has crossed your mind that he's going to be the head coach.
Absolutely not.
Yes, it has.
No, it hasn't.
I mean, the writing's on the wall. We might as well just print it.
Listen, Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott, they boys, that's who's going to be the head coach. That's going to be the head coach.
Yes, I think we should mark this down, Donnie. Just put a little, notation or whatever it is that we do.
Well, I don't know what to think. What do we do?
I mean, I don't take care of the archives of the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast, but I feel like this moment should be just put a little
Chiefs,
highlight thing or
Cowboys,
whatever
Super
we
Bowl.
do. Yeah, no, Chiefs, Cowboys, Super Bowl for sure. That's more of what I want. But I'm specifically saying that Kellen Moore will be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys in 2020. Start of 2020.
Donnie, if that happens, you burn this tape. All right, you burn it.
Boise
Literally
State
burn
quarterback
it.
action?
Delete it, burn it, wipe it.
We wouldn't use tapes.
Yeah, we don't use tapes anymore. That's not how it works. Burn down the internet.
2019.
Where do they keep that internet
The
thing?
files are in the
Delete
machine.
Delete the screenshot. How do we get rid of it?